Hello and welcome everybody to session 0/1 of Call of Cthulhu, Pulp Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. I am joined by this beautiful cast. Before we start, I need to thank Millie, the GM, for making that fantastic intro for us. Thank you, Millie. You do fantastic, amazing work. Uh-oh, it looks like Chuck's been putting time out. His messages are being deleted. Shit. Sorry, Chuck.
If it was going to
They
happen
haven't
to
trained their
anyone, it would be
Nightbot.
Chuck.
Yeah, they haven't trained their Nightbot well yet. But yeah, thank you for joining us. We're going to do some character creation night. We're going to hopefully get into the adventure with what little time we've got left. And we're going to tackle this legendary adventure. This is the Call of Cthulhu adventure. We need to also thank Sirenscape, who is sponsoring us for this journey. They are going to be providing sounds for our adventure. They have official Masks of Nyarlathotep audio sound sets that you can purchase if you're a subscriber, and they have created them for every scenario that's in this book. And if anybody has seen this book, it is like 900 plus pages. It is huge. It goes everywhere and anywhere. And they've also accounted for players as they do go off the rails. There are sound sets for when they decide, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go shoot up speakeasy. It's like, okay, this isn't in the game, but let's do it. It's there. So please check out Sirenscape. Do we have a link?
We do. If you
sounds?
do sounds in the chat.
All right. Linked in the chat there. You can do a 30-day trial and give it a try to enhance your game. Beautiful. Let's go around. I know some people have some things they want to plug here that they have going on. I'm going to throw it over to you, Pete.
Hey, hello. Yes, I'm Pete. I am Garblag, and we have some new players on the show today. So that's awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I am also doing a Kickstarter on Thursday, which is also my birthday. So if you want to get me a birthday present, then feel free and back my Kickstarter. And I have a little intro video to share with you now to give you a taster of Dodecker. Excellent. Yes, that is Dodecker, my D12 old school style role playing game with narrative, character creation, and world building. There is a playtest on the Garblag Games YouTube channel, which you can reach by typing !YouTube in the chat. And I haven't turned the sound back on yet. That is going live on Thursday, February 4th, and I am really excited about it and absolutely terrified because it's my first Kickstarter and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I've got artwork from Diogo Nogueira and Mustafa Bakir, and I am writing it all myself. So it's and I'm doing the layout and the editing, so it's gonna be lots of fun. It's going to be 2 weeks, and it's a target of £1,500. And there's various pledge levels that include PDFs, a book, and also 5 system agnostic adventure locations that I've created that are already on Drive-Thru-RPG, and the top tier of me running a game for you online. So there you go. I think I'll leave it at that and pass over to who's next. Who wants to go next and tout their stuff? Callum?
Hello, I am Callum from the Release Podcast. I like to take advantage of other people's stream to play awesome games without having to run the technical side, which is very complex. So all these tools look awesome. Sirenscape sounds awesome. Go get it. The Foundry, awesome. But I could not bother learning them. So here I am tonight. Very happy to join Garblag for the first time. Feel free to follow my channel on Twitch. I run interviews, not stream games. I play a little bit of video games, but that's mostly it. And I've got a podcast dedicated to tabletop RPG enthusiasts across the channel, across the pond, all around the world. Next month, it should be about a convention called Session Zero Con, which took place in Southeast Asia. And last month, it was about an online convention, which took place in France. So you already have two bits of the world. A bit like our campaign, Mask of Nyarlathotep. We should travel a bit, I expect.
Cool.
Very, very good. Shall we throw it over to Jeffrey next?
Jeffrey. Okay. Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
You can call me Matthew.
Little group called Adventures in Lollygagging. We play various tabletop role-playing games on the internet. We're at twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. We play a lot of the same types of games you see Matt play and Pete play in Garblag Games. We have an ongoing Alien campaign every other Mondays. We do a lot of Free League stuff. We're also on the Free League channel every other Monday as well, playing Vaesen. And yeah. So just come follow the channel, hang out, and watch us play some games.
Cool. Ben, what do you got going on you want to promote?
Sorry, I'm used to being the junior partner. I go last. Hello, I'm Ben. I'm Demi Garblag. I'm like Robin to Pete's Batman. Only I look better in hot pants than Pete.
This is true.
I've done a few games here and there. I've run games on Garblag. I've got some games that I've just finished on Free League. We did Coriolis. It was lots of fun. Buy My Zweihander game, which is on Drive-Thru RPG under Pete's name. And technically, I guess I'm also trying to do a Kickstarter for Zine Quest 3, only I have the organizational talent of a newt. So it's kind of me just pressing the letter buttons on this rectangle thing and hoping that something comes out the other end at this stage. So no cool intro videos for me. I will merely weave you a pretty tale with my melodic voice.
How soothing. Megan, you hate it when I ask you this, but do you have anything you want to promote?
I do. Well, not nearly as exciting as these folks for sure. Mine is more home based. We were cleaning out our basement and noticed that we have over 200 board games. So
I'm coming over.
Absolutely. So me and the family have decided to take a challenge of going through them, but we want to play them to make sure that they don't suck. You know, I don't want to give away something that's pretty awesome. So every week we are going through and playing a game from start to finish. And this week we are playing Mad, the board game, where the idea is to lose all your money. It's pretty exciting. It's Other than that, I thoroughly enjoy playing games over the internet and meeting new people and listening to Matt, actually.
Oh, well, thank you. Is that Mad as in like Alfred E. Newman Mad?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
Big
I
tech.
like that. All right. Very good. We have done our intros. Everybody has gotten to know the players a little bit better, but now it's time to get to know the characters. We're going to do character creation here live on stream. So like I said, we are using Pulp Cthulhu. Masks of Nyarlathotep is kind of notorious for being a bit of a meat grinder and investigators dying as they're trying to make their way around the globe to solve this mystery. So Pulp Cthulhu is going to help make these guys a little bit more hardy, survive this adventure. Hopefully it gives them more hit points and more sanity and things like that. They get some pulp talents to make them two-fisted heroes and things of that nature. And we're going to be using the quick fire hero creation method also found within Pulp Cthulhu. It gives you the chance to make more of a bit of a robust character. You're not rolling your stats randomly. You're given like an array, a standard array to put into your key stats and such. So I'll ask all of my players to grab their Pulp Cthulhu books, and we're going to go through character creation. You should all have characters set up in Foundry. If you can't see them, let me know. and I will give you access because they're all there.
Yep.
And if you
Yep.
don't know where the characters are, if you haven't used Foundry before, it is the tab in the top right-hand corner that looks like a little person or people standing together. If you click that, you'll see I've created character sheets for all of you, and I've even put your character images that you've provided me on your character sheet for you, including Jeff the Murderer.
I didn't realize there would be quite so many North American folk watching and listening, so I do apologize. The best picture I could find was former President Calvin Coolidge.
I thought he looked familiar.
Well, I'll be adding the pictures to the overlay for the next session once we've created all the characters.
Oh, very good. I'll get them over to you, the ones that
Yeah.
are all cleaned up and
Yeah.
have all the backgrounds removed. Yeah, Foundry. Foundry is definitely the way to go, tabletop anthologies. I absolutely love it. Okay, so we have our character sheets. You can go ahead and open them up. I've asked all of these folks to all chart out their players, or their characters, sorry, have an idea of what they want to play. So the first step in character creation is choosing your pulp archetype. I have put all of the archetypes into the game. If you click on the symbol in the top right-hand corner that looks like, oh, I don't know, a folder, a GM screen? Yeah, a GM screen. If you click on that, you should see skills, archetypes, and occupations, unless I haven't shared that out with all of you.
It's
Nope,
there.
not yet. I've got skills.
I see
Let
skills,
me-
archetypes, and occupations.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing. You said GM screen, and I was looking at Little Book.
Okay, I've updated now. Everybody should be an observer. Okay, perfect. So if you click on archetypes, you can actually drag and drop the one you want to play onto your character sheet. It'll then fill in the skills tied to that archetype.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Very fancy. I love a bit of drag and drop.
Drag and drop. So I'm going to go down the line as everybody's dragging and dropping and doing this. Pete, what archetype are you settling in on?
I'm just trying to find. I think I was going for explorer or game hunter.
Okay.
And I think game hunter was a bit too aggressive for me, so I was going more for explorer.
Aggressive.
From what I heard of Nyarlathotep, we all start with subtle characters.
Yes.
And we're gonna all end up with a group of GI Joes from the
Well,
80s.
The nice thing about this edition, so this is the latest edition of Masks of Nyarlathotep. It's been in print since the 1980s, mid to late 1980s. This one actually is the first edition ever to take into account Pulp Cthulhu. So the way it's written is it's laid out like the previous editions, but it also has sidebars where if you're running Pulp Cthulhu, how to kind of like up the action or make it more pulpy. So that's also going to help with us playing it. We're going to make it a little bit more action oriented.
So it's asking me to select my core characteristic, dexterity or power.
Yeah, so you get to choose between the two based
And I
off of what you
think
select.
I'm going to choose dexterity because my chap is a professional cricketer.
That's right. And I know nothing about cricket, so you're going to challenge my knowledge.
Silly
of
mid off.
this game. I don't know what you just
Oh,
said.
it's filling out loads of skills. They're like suddenly
The
appearing.
best
and
thing about
populating.
you knowing nothing about cricket is that anything we make up won't be as ridiculous sounding as an actual thing from cricket.
Yeah. Googly.
Fair enough. I have just posted the standard array in the chat for the players. So you see a 90, an 80, a 70, 60, 50, 50, 40. The way the quick fire hero method works is you put the 90 in your core characteristic, and then you get to decide where you want to put those other numbers based off of the type of character you want to make. So whatever your core characteristic is, that's what's going to be your best number. So you can go ahead and fill those in on your character sheet. While you're doing that, I will move down the line. Hey, Diesel Shot. Good to
Ooh,
see you here.
Hi.
Hey, Diesel Shot.
Megan, what
Yeah.
is the archetype you are playing?
I am a rogue.
Ooh, sneaky stabby in the Cthulhu world. I like it.
I'm going to be an artist, and yeah, I'm going to have myself a wealthy benefactor.
Very nice.
You know.
Caleb, what archetype were you looking at?
So I will play a femme fatale, but I will go for an homme fatale. So I will play he, him pronouns, but still I will take the femme fatale archetype and see where it goes.
Yes. Very
And
good.
my main characteristic will be appearance, of course.
Charisma based. You're the face.
As long as I'm not the face which takes punches
Yeah.
in
No,
itself.
that's what the cricketer's for.
Do we need another stat in there? Are we supposed to have 8? You've given 7.
Yeah, I got a blank one as well.
Yes. An additional 60.
Okay.
Sorry. 2 60s. Let's do that again. There we go. 60, 60, 50, 50, 40. Homme fatale. Jeff, what archetype are you?
I went with hard boiled, so like a tough and streetwise private detective type of thing, and I've got Constitution as my core characteristic. Yeah,
Hard boiled.
mm-hmm.
Well, it's suiting for pulp.
It's gonna be a New Yorker.
New York. That's the accent you're choosing. It's not.
That's
Big
what I'm
Pharma.
doing. It's not. No. Don't. Oh God, that's gonna get in my head now.
I am Big Pharma.
I am big fan.
I watched
Ben,
that one. That was good.
Did you?
Oh, goodness.
It haunts Jeff now.
I love it, but I should have trademarked that at some point.
Ben, what archetype are you selecting?
I've gone for the scholar, and I've taken education as my primary attribute.
Very good. Always important in a Cthulhu game to have the old man that
Yes,
hunts
well,
for
all
libraries.
these mighty and brave heroes, they're going to need someone who can read Aramaic when they get to it, won't they?
Very true. This is a globe-trotting adventure.
I went to
Okay,
public school.
Has everybody slotted in their stats?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Hard
There
boiled.
is a far cry between fifth year Latin and Assyrian and Aramaic subdialects. You do understand.
Right over my head. Right, just with the cricket references also. Next, we are going to select 2 Pulp Talents. So those are on pages 24, 25, and 26 in the book if you're following along. You can either roll for them randomly or you can select 2 that you want for your character that makes sense. And this is where you get into the little bit of the advantages of being a pulp type of character. So you can select 2. I don't have drag and drops for these because there is nowhere specifically for them on the character sheet. So I will recommend that you just kind of type them in on the backstory tab of your character sheet, copy and paste them out of the PDF, plug them in there. Is anybody going to roll randomly? That's what I'm curious. You don't have to.
You need somebody to roll randomly? I can
No,
roll.
you don't have to. You can select what you want. I'm just curious if anybody was going to go that direction.
Fair.
No, I'm looking at these mental talents.
Can have a look.
Hardened, that sounds like you. You're going to be attacking lots of humans, so you avoid that sanity loss. Hard-boiled pharma. Pete, have you selected your?
I'm just having a look. Give me 2
I
minutes.
think I'm going to take quick study and linguist.
So linguist, able to determine what language is being spoken or what is written, gains a bonus die to language rolls. Bonus die is
Let me type anything into backstory.
You have
because
to
it's
click
locked,
the little
that's
lock.
why.
Yep.
Click that little lock. And what was it? So linguist, and I'm sorry, what was the other one?
Quick study.
Quick study. Have the time required for initial and full reading of mythos tomes, as well as other books. What? You're not going to encounter any mythos tomes here. Don't be crazy. Speaking of crazy, insanity is inevitable in Call of Cthulhu. Your sanity ticks
Oh,
down.
tell a
over
lie.
time.
I won't take quick study. I'll take photographic memory. That seems more appropriate.
You can remember many details. Gains a bonus die when making no rolls. KNOW. Not NO.
Bonus for making no rolls.
Has anybody else selected their talents?
Well, I was hoping to take a photographic memory, so now I'm going to look for something else. But I will take, regardless, smooth talker, gain a bonus die to charm rolls.
Ah, very good. Very appropriate.
I'm ready.
What did you select?
So I'm going to take Keen Vision, gain a bonus die to spot hidden rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to go fast load. Choose a firearms specialty and ignore a penalty die for loading and firing in the same round.
Ooh, all right. You are going hard boiled.
I'm doing a little bit of both. I got the investigative side of it, but then, when push comes to shove, got the gun.
It will come in handy having
That's-
someone who's
that's what it is.
good at fighting.
Yeah. Do a little bit of both.
I'm gonna go for beady eye and heavy hitter because I'm an all-rounder, so I can bowl and I can bat. So
You can
Or
play
these
cricket and rounders.
So, heavy hitter, you may spend 10 luck points to add an additional damage die when dealing out melee combat. And what was the other one? Beady eye.
beady eye.
Does not suffer penalty die when aiming at a small target. It may also fire into melee without penalty die. Okay.
Absolutely. With my cricket ball.
With your cricket ball. Wait, they use balls in cricket?
Balls made of concrete.
Yes, they passed a law in the 14th century saying that you weren't allowed to use peasants' faces anymore.
Show them the foundry.
You know what,
Oh, sorry.
Dan and Bartok, I don't know if talents are in the regular 7th edition of Call of Cthulhu, but they are specifically in Pulp Cthulhu that we're using, just to make your characters that much, better.
I hesitate between 3, so maybe people can tell me what they think. Keen vision, to spot the hidden can always be useful. Nimble, so I don't lose my next action when I'm diving for cover. So that helps with survival chances. And the last one, eventually, lucky. It can be kind of all around interesting. So how do the chat room or maybe the players feel about one of those 3?
If you're not looking to double up, I did take Keen Vision as well. So if you wanted to avoid doubling up, I don't care.
Okay,
we
well, we
double up,
remove
though,
this
so
one.
whatever you like.
Okay, so that
The diving for
leaves-
cover one sounded really good.
It did, yeah.
All right, nimble it is then.
Nimble it is.
A charming nimbler.
When the going gets tough, the nimble get diving. Megan, what have you decided for yours?
I'm gonna go with quick healer because I'm not very strong, and
So-
I'm also gonna go with shadow.
Okay, so quick healer's natural healing is increased by +3 hit points per day. And shadow, what's that one under? Is that under miscellaneous? Yes. Reduces difficulty by 1 level or gains bonus die at the keyboard expression. That's me. To stealth rolls, and if currently unseen is able to make 2 surprise attacks before their location is discovered. Okay. That is very roguelike of you. All right, so we have selected our pulp talents. Choose your age. Okay, whatever. That's the next thing on the list. Next is calculate damage bonus and build. Now, I believe these character sheets may have already done that for you. The way you do that is based off of, let me just flip back here. Bonus damage is based off of your.
Do we need to add an occupation as well as an archetype, or am I getting ahead of myself?
You will. You're getting a little ahead. but that's
Okay.
okay.
Oh,
I like your eagerness, Ben. Um, damage bonus and build is based off of combining your strength and size together. That will give you a number. Now, is it filled in on your sheets? Let's
Where is
see.
it supposed to
there was-
go?
It's
says
right under
build.
the
I can
stats. You'll
see
see
it.
move 9 build. I'm looking at Jeff's character sheet.
Yeah,
He's
it's
got
still
build
empty
0.
for me.
So if your score is between 85 and 124, if you add those two numbers together, then you get nothing. So I don't know if anybody's made
I
like
got
a real
nothing.
beefy character with a huge size and a high strength score. But 85 to 124 is nothing. 125 to 164, that's when you start getting your bonuses. But the character sheet should automatically do it for you. It's smart, it does the math. So if you see zeros under there, you're good. If you see negatives, that means your character's on the weaker side, and you're going to take negatives when it comes to damage bonuses and build. They are going to go insane, Bill. You know, it's inevitable. You know. Okay, so we've done that, or the character sheet's done for us. Next, we need to calculate our hit points. It is con plus size divided by 5. Now, I don't know if the sheet has done that for you.
Yep.
If there's okay,
Oh,
Where
yeah.
would it show?
it
On
will
the
be on
left?
the left-hand side of your
Left.
character
Oh,
sheet.
yes. Yes, it has.
Con plus size, you said.
Con
Divided by
plus size divided by 5.
Yeah,
So-
it does it automatically.
Is it giving you the right number? Is it giving you base Call of Cthulhu numbers, or is it giving you beefier?
doesn't
Pulp
look right.
characters? I
on
think
my
it's
side.
giving you lower hit points. Than
It
what
is,
you
yeah.
deserve.
50
Yeah.
plus 50 is
I should
100
have,
divided
I
by
should have
5 is 20.
I've got 13. So it's
So
doing
you are-
divided by 10.
You are.
Yeah,
pretty
it's given
cute.
half.
I'm just looking at a way to update that. All right, we have to figure out a way on my end to update that because your
You'll have to
sheets are
change the
unlocked.
rules, won't you?
Yes. Okay, so that's not calculating correctly. So note that somewhere on your character sheet, your correct hit points, because you are beefier and stronger in Pulp Cthulhu. The other thing is your luck. 2d6 plus 6 times 5. So you actually get to roll that. We get to roll something during character creation. 2d6 plus 6 times 5. If you click the d6 in the bottom right-hand corner there's a d6 icon. Click it twice. That'll roll 2d6 for you. You don't have to roll them individually.
Plus 5.
Oh, Millie can't raid. All right, Millie, let me see what I can do.
Is it 2d6 plus 5, did you say?
2d6 plus 6 times 5.
Plus 6 times 5. Wow.
Nice. 2d6 plus 5.
Plus 6.
Oh,
I
plus
rolled a
6. That's
17.
16 for me.
So times 5, that's 85. Bad.
80 for me.
Okay. So luck is used in a number of ways in Call of Cthulhu. We'll get into it a little bit later, but some of the more common ways of doing it is, say you have a roll, you're going to know what you need to succeed on a roll. And there's going to be various degrees of success. You can spend 1 luck point to lower your roll, because this is a roll under system. So you can spend 1 luck to lower your roll by 1 point. There are other spends you can use luck for as well. Luck will come back at the beginning of each session. You roll and you determine randomly how much luck you get back at the beginning of each session. So it is a renewable resource that you will be using throughout the game. I think when I was running Call of Cthulhu last time, or Pulp Cthulhu, there was characters sitting on 99 luck for a very long time. But they can also help you when you start to go insane, things like that, or possibly take damage.
Mm. Like my talent allows me to spend 10 luck to add a damage die in melee.
Exactly.
Do that 8 times.
There's
My
not
85
a
luck.
actual spot for it, right? You
Just
sort of
under the
like-
word. Just under the word, it's like an invisible
Oh.
box.
Okay.
Under
there we go.
skills.
Thank you. Got it.
Is it box?
Realize it was invisible.
Invisibox.
All right, Ben, now we get to decide on our
yes.
occupation.
Oh, well, now I'm stuck. I have to choose between 2. So,
So occupations, again, are going to be in that folder. You're going to be able to drag and drop them onto your character sheet. It may, depending on what you select, it's going to ask you to choose certain ones. I'm also going to put a whole array of numbers here in the chat for you that you're going to get to now divide amongst those skills that now populate on your character sheet. And just those skills. You can't take these numbers and put them into the ones that you had populate previously.
So sorry, Matt, were we finding our occupation?
So in the same folder where you found the archetypes,
Same.
there should be an occupations folder as well.
Gonna
If you
Drag
right-click
and-
the icon at the top of the menu, it will pop out, so you can keep it visible the whole time for all the items, because we're going to go through skills and stuff as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know whether to be a gentleman or an archaeologist.
We have to have one archaeologist, don't we? It's
I'm
Call of
already a
Cthulhu.
scholar. I mean, is it not doubling up? And the idea of the gentleman scholar quite appeals.
Yeah, in BRP it's nice doubling up, I think, because you want to be very good at a few things rather than be too spread out. I find by experience. Pulp might be slightly different.
It's very similar skill array by the looks of things.
All right, I just put that in the chat. The only other additional one that may not have populated in there is your credit rating. And then if you, in that same folder where you found your occupations and archetypes, I have all of the skills lists in there. You can just drag and drop individual skills on your character sheet. In Call of Cthulhu, you have access to all of the skills. You don't have to be specifically trained in something. You can always attempt it. And a lot of them have base scores. Credit rating is not one of those. Credit rating, you have to put a number in there. Your occupation will give you a range. It dictates what your occupation, or I'm sorry, your credit rating can be between. So for example, I'm looking at the mechanic. It says credit rating of 9 to 40. And what your credit rating does is it dictates a couple of things. It dictates your cash. Cash is not necessarily money that's carried on you at all times. It's maybe it's sitting in a bank, or you have access to it, or it's under your mattress. It's money that you can get to if need be.
A line of credit.
A line of credit. The other thing that it determines are your assets. So that could be a home or a car or shares in a gold mine. I don't know, but it's assets, things that you can gain access to and sell and get more money over time. And it also determines your spending level. So that is your daily spending limit. The way it works in Call of Cthulhu is you have a daily spending limit. If you spend below that, you don't need to mark anything off in your character sheet. So your daily spending limit's $50 a day. You can spend up to $50. It's whatever. You don't mark anything over. It's once you go over your daily spending limit, then you need to start getting into your cash and gain access to that. And this is all based off of what you make your credit rating and what score you put in there. The table for that is found on page 42 of the Pulp Cthulhu book. So that's one important thing to note is credit rating. Depends on if you want your character to be wealthy, if you want to spend a lot of money. If you don't, well, then whatever. Your daily spending limit would be literally 50 cents. If your credit rating is 0 or less, it's 50 cents a day, which, isn't bad in 1920s.
Oh, so I went for dilettante.
Oh, nice.
I'm going athlete
Very good.
with my special skill of throw. And 5
look
subs for the chat. There you go.
Yes, thank you for sending out those gifts there. Pete going crazy. He's a madman. All right, so you have those skills. You have those points that you're allotting to those skills. You have your credit rating to think of. Any questions?
How do we update the skills number?
Good question. Your character sheet's unlocked. You should be able to click the little pencil next. It's like a square with a pencil next to the trash can to the far right of the skill. If you click on that, you should be able to change the number.
I just have a little eye icon.
Let me take a look at your character sheet.
Let's do. Welcome, Matt.
Try it now.
Absolutely.
I unlocked it for you. So we have an athlete. We have a dilettante. Jeff, what have you selected for your occupation?
Private investigator.
PI.
Yeah, I'm good at intimidation and firearms and taking pitches and stuff. It'd be great. I'm gonna take pictures, shoot at you 2 different ways. It's gonna be great.
Hardboiled detective. Ben, which direction did you go? You had a
I
couple
went
of
with the
options.
gentleman because chat seemed to lean in favor of it, and being called a gentleman and a scholar does somewhat appeal to me.
You, sir, you are a gentleman scholar. I just saw that. Okay. And Megan, what did you select for yours?
I am an artist.
Ooh, an artiste.
You're gonna die so fast. The dilettante and the artist. Oh, what is going on here? Oh.
Right, what do we do with those numbers? The
Need of
80, 70,
champagne.
70
Ooh.
ones. Is that the numbers to put in our skills?
Your occupational skills.
Occupational skills.
You have specific skills that are given to you by your occupation, and those numbers go into there. Plus, you need to take into account your credit rating.
Yes.
So Matt, I think you already encoded everything in
think
advance
so.
for me, but based on what I did before, because I don't think I have any skill points to spend. The big
Yep.
news is that I got a credit rating of 70.
Excellent.
So that means at 70, you are wealthy. You have a $50 a day spending limit. You have your CR times 500 in assets. And your CR times 5 is going to dictate your cash that you have in reserves somewhere.
So is that set of numbers, does that also include our credit rating?
I don't know if it's on there. I don't think it does. I think you'll have to go back into the folder where I have the occupations archetypes and just drag and drop the credit rating skill out of the skills list onto your character sheet.
Okay.
And it is a skill, isn't it? So we assign one of those values to credit rating.
Correct.
Sorry, some of my skills didn't automatically.
All right. So while you're doing that, the next step while you're looking at that is you now get to pick 5 non-occupation skills and boost them by an additional 20%. So like I said, you have access to all the skills in Call of Cthulhu. So you will need to fill in the gaps on your character sheet. We could do that after the session this week as well. I can go in there and do it for you. It's going to be a bit tedious. There are a lot of skills in Call of Cthulhu. But you do have an additional 20% you can put in 5 non-occupational skills. So you can boost anything else you want on your character sheet. Remember, it's a roll under system. So you want to have something that you want to be good at. You want to have a higher number in. And when we're rolling percentile die, and you want to roll under that target number.
Thanks, Gayant14, for gifting a sub to Hey GM Kenny. And hey GM Kenny.
Yeah, hey GM Kenny, thanks for joining us.
So I've got Fight Brawl twice, and it's
delete one of the two.
Just delete one of the two.
Yeah.
And if it's already at 25 and I put 40 into it, it becomes 65.
It does. Correct.
And what's the max you can go to? Sorry.
99.
Okay.
So yeah,
just
all
curious.
the skills start with a base number in them, regardless of what you have into in any attribute. There's always a base number for every skill in this game. Some of them might be 1%. Some of them might be 20, 30, 40, 50%. But you can always use every skill, or attempt to. The other thing with Call of Cthulhu, you're going to notice on your character sheet next to the skills, or I believe on this character sheet is a blank little box or check boxes when you put the lock back on. And the way it works in this system is whenever you succeed on rolling a skill roll, you put a little check on there. At the end of the session, you get to roll for possible improvement on those skills that you passed during the session. So if you want to boost a skill up that you're not maybe good at, you might want to find ways or excuses to use that skill in a game session, because at the end of it, your chances of increasing that skill are going to be pretty good. So these numbers are not going to be
language, Matt.
Yes.
Do you just have flat language, or do you need to take multiple copies of the language skill for different languages?
You're going to have to take different copies for different languages. You have there's the base one that's own, so whatever your native language is, and then you can take specific ones, and you'll have to take multiples for different languages.
So I took Arab as a language.
Very
It might
good.
Be handy, and there's a lot of very good poetry in Arab.
We're going all over the globe in this adventure, so language skills they'll come in very handy. I'll tell you that, even in our first place. We're going to kick this off in Peru. So as the players are filling in their numbers here, also talk about Masks of Nyarlathotep. We're using the latest edition. Like I said, it has Pulp Cthulhu rules in it. Takes that into account. This is the first edition to this. This is also the first edition that contains a prologue. And we're going to be playing through that prologue. It starts off in Peru. I find it kind of ties everything nicely together when the actual adventure starts. So we're not actually kicking off the actual adventure itself. We're going to do the prologue first. And the prologue was created to kind of answer some of the complaints or some of the concerns that had been voiced over the years about this adventure. And I found that it is quite well written and actually answers and takes care of a lot of those complaints. So we're going to do the prologue. It'll take a few sessions, and then we'll get into the actual Masks of Nyarlathotep adventure.
We could die even before it's.
You could. This is very true. You could die before the actual adventure begins. Mark skills when you pass them, Bill. I have to look it up again because it's been so
Did you
long.
say we need to pick other skills as well?
Yes, you get to choose 5 more that are non-occupational that you put at 20%. And again, they're all listed on that skill list, and you can just drag and drop them on your character sheet if you don't see a skill that you want. So you could take more languages.
I
as
am
well.
taking more languages.
So, question: the
Yes.
characteristics, are they used sometimes or not?
They're not. Well, we could always throw them
I
in
don't
from
know.
here to here. There are no mechanics around them per se. Okay, so after that, we're skipping number 10, adding the bonus skill points for Pulp Adventure Archetype as desired. We're not doing that. Next is roll backstory details and elaborate on them. So you can roll randomly for your backstory, but I think all of you have a concept in mind for your backstory and your character. Let's just start playing. So I'll let all of you finish filling in your character sheets, and then you can introduce everyone to who or what you're playing, who your investigator is. Are there any questions in the chat in the meantime? Or tell us about your Cthulhu experiences. Or I saw someone had chat in there earlier that they love Masks of Nyarlathotep. They've run it or played it or are currently playing it.
Man, I just wanted to verify really quick. The non-occupational skills total, that's your int times 2. That's how many skill points you distribute, or am I reading that wrong?
You pick 5 and you
Okay.
boost them by 20%.
Boost
Or
them by
using
20%.
the quick fire hero method's just a little
Okay.
different than the base
Gotcha.
methods. But you end up with a better,
Fine,
well-rounded
but
character in the
gotcha.
end.
So
Any good memories of gruesome deaths in Call of Cthulhu? Anybody in the chat or any of the players? I know this is the first time for a lot of people here in the game playing Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, so Bill saw an Elder God and instantly lost over 80 sanity. When he did that.
Wow.
It was pretty
That's
spectacular.
crazy.
I thought he was
Yeah,
going to lose his character on the spot, but no, he eked by with just a handful of sanity left.
So yeah, I saw someone in the chat room earlier suggesting to throw a large sheet of paper or maybe a blanket or turn off the light before trying to fight anything. So this way you don't lose sanity.
That's and Aaron in the chat there also says, I can't wait to see you all go insane. Insanity is inevitable. You might have really good hit points. You might be good at fighting. You might be really hardy in survival sort of situations, but the sanity loss just kind of keeps ticking away. It's just a matter of time, a ticking time bomb before you go insane with this game.
I got to say, I am practically daring you with this many languages.
Oh, great. What did you select for languages? Go ahead.
Aramaic, Dahomey, Greek, Hebrew, Latin, Sumerian.
Even if
Or
there aren't
Egyptian.
and Egyptian.
Not a spoken language. It's a written one, so that would be covered by history. Got that sorted too.
Now you're going to force me to insert NPCs in this mission, even if there aren't any that speak these languages, so you can take advantage of them.
And you should get
It'll be
Jeff
for
to
reading.
co-GM and do the accents.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's going to be Big Pharma.
Let us go to Moscow. The wonderful twist of the story. Big Pharma.
I thought you were talking about Pfizer.
Yes.
In
Not
November.
sponsored by Pfizer. Unless they want to sponsor us, then reach out to Pete at Garblag Games.
Sounds like your big pharma would get on very well with captain of UPP vessel.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
He did it his way.
Chuck is giving you the Big Pharma shout out. And Jeremy, as a teenager, wanted to play a ninja in Call of Cthulhu and found the strategy to be surprisingly effective.
Wow.
That's the first time I've heard of a ninja in Call of Cthulhu. Standard Call of Cthulhu, all I think of is like old men in libraries looking for books and tomes.
Yeah. Right, so I think I've done all my skills. I've assigned all those values. I've picked 5 skills to put 20 points in. So I now have things like firearms handgun, firearms rifle, natural world, spot hidden. My throw is 90, because I am one of the best English bowlers. Just been on tour in Australia. I'm back.
You're back, baby. Well,
Or not.
I'm gonna have to ask you why you're going to Peru.
Why am I going to Peru? I'm going exploring.
Sounds like he zigged when he should have zagged.
So if you're all done, why don't you tell us about your character? What's your name? Tell us a little bit about them, Pete.
Sorry. Who did you say?
Pete?
I
I
haven't
think
got a
he's
name
muted.
yet. So if anyone
I know
wants to go
Ca-
before me, that's cool.
Callum's done.
Before we do, what's the factor and symbol stuff in cash?
Oh. I closed that book. Give me 1 second.
Sorry. Oh, no, it's okay. It's auto filled in the spending level and the cash.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Oh,
I thought
did
I
it?
needed to add something.
Very good.
Mhm.
I think so.
Callum,
Yeah.
you have your character all charted out, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Introduce us to your character, please.
All right, so I will be playing for this campaign Jaden Wallace Hall, who is a very elegant young man, age 27. He was born in Gibraltar and currently lives in New York, which his accent is a bit difficult to locate. He's very always closely shaven. He's got kind of a fringe, but of curly, very dark hair and blue eyes, and he always wears sort of a beanie hat of some kind, which is a bit like a cloche hat that women used to wear in the 1920s. So it sort of enhances its sort of androgynous look. And yeah, most of the time he wears white suits and with a nice cravat.
Very good. Very good. I'm gonna throw one more curveball here. So this adventure, I'm gonna show this to you. It's a newspaper ad. Newspaper ad has been taken out, and this is the reason why you're traveling to Peru, Lima to be specific. So this newspaper ad says, "Search for ancient pyramid in Peru. Explorer plans expedition to discover site of lost civilization." Lima, January 12th. Explorer Augustus Larkin is planning an expedition to the South Highlands of Peru, where he hopes to identify the site of a pyramid long forgotten by history. Following the discovery of a number of golden artifacts in the region, Larkin believes that he has found evidence that will lead him to their source. He is currently in Lima, planning the expedition, and is recruiting companions and possible backers. So all of you are answering this newspaper ad. So I'm going to throw you all a curveball, and I want you to think of why your characters are answering this and going to Peru to go partake in this this archaeological dig or this expedition. Doesn't necessarily say you know you're taking part in the dig. You might be going there for as a bodyguard or tough, or maybe you're trying to get away from trouble that's that you've picked up from wherever you're from.
I got the best reason.
What is that?
Boredom.
Bored?
So bored.
Yes.
I mean, Lima, I thought it would be, exotic and distracting, and everything is so tasteless and boring. I think I might as well sign up for this expedition. Might be, I don't know, something exciting of some kind.
I love it. And you've got the money to spare, right? It's whatever. This is chump change to you. Beautiful. I love it.
Okay. Right. So I will be playing Elsie Ashford, who until recently was one of the top bowlers for the England cricket team and the Marylebone Cricket Club, which plays out of Lords, obviously. And unfortunately, on our tour in Australia, I was severely injured. My leg was hurt. My arms are fine. But I can no longer do the approach in the way I need to. So I'm having to hang up my balls and head out. And I'm fairly wealthy. I'm public school educated. I've got some money and I've got some time. And I have a great interest in the natural world. One of the things I studied heavily when I was at Harrow. So I think South America sounds a great place to spend some time, explore a wonderful mystery of the world, and to get over my shame for hurting myself in the first game of the tour.
Very good. And what was the first name of your character, sorry?
It's just Elsie Ashford.
Like the letters LC?
Yes.
The
Lionel
abbreviation?
Cuthbert
Okay.
Ashford.
All right. Lionel Cuthbert Ashford. I like it. All right. Elsie Ashford, Jaden Wallace Hall. Who is next to tell us about their character and why they are answering this call to go to Peru?
I'll go, Matt.
Okay.
So I am Gwendolyn Murphy, but you can call me Gwen. I grew up in upstate New York on a farm. Come from my grandparents came from or my parents and grandparents came from Ireland, and I really admired my grandmother. She painted with whatever we had available, and I came into this love for landscape art. So with the support of my grandmother, moved to New York to make it big. And like all artists, you just get lost in the scene, and not like all artists, but in this particular case, she gets lost in the scene of it. The glamour and the money and the illegal liquor and all that. And she's looking for a restart, and saw this advertisement and thought, hey, South America is a great place to start.
Very good. I like it. Is this during Prohibition in the States? My American players tell me 1920 started. Oh, and ended at 33. So this takes place in this prologue takes place in 25. Or is it 21? No,
I think
It said 21.
21. So this is during Prohibition. It was great. Last time we did Masks of Nyarlathotep, the chat got really involved and actually started fact checking things for us while we played. And would tell us if something was like
Brilliant.
invented or a thing yet. It was
Think
great
about headlights.
because
Yeah.
I'd throw things out and then like the chat would be like, "Brrr, okay, it was invented in 19 whatever. It says here like that was totally common in New York City by this point. I was like, all right, awesome.
Yeah. Or
So
quick
people who are joining
retcon.
us for this journey, if you want to be chat fact checkers, we will not say no. We will gladly take it.
Millie wants to know how many groats to name your character.
It's too late. I was ignoring that question. It's I don't want to know what Millie would have called me. It's not
I want to
Elsie.
know.
It's not
I wanna know
Elsie.
what
I'm
Millie
not
would have
about to
called
sing
you.
Let It Go. It's Elsie.
That's why
Boo.
I asked you. That's why I asked you to say it again because I did hear Elsie.
Yeah. Apologies.
Megan or Ben, do either of you have yours set up? Or Jeff? I haven't done Jeff's either.
Yeah, I'm ready
Whoever's
to go.
next.
Yeah, I can go. I am playing Louis Salvatore, also from New York, but the city, Flushing specifically, big family, big Italian family, but kind of the black sheep. Made some choices, and they don't really talk to me as much as they used to. Um, I got a I got a wife and a daughter, but they don't talk to me either, which is probably for the best. But I maybe have some gambling habits and such, and that tends to get me adversely leveraged by certain folk. And I think since I do a lot of investigative work, sometimes it's just taking pictures of some upstanding gentleman with a dame that's just not his wife, and I think I've been run out of New York for a bit, and I got a little line just to do a little muscle. I'm not so much good with the muscle, but I have a gun and I have a keen eye, and so I think I'm down in Peru because I got connections in New York that might be interested in the discoveries down here, something like that.
There you
I'm
go.
very low
Cool.
class, and I'm
Totally.
constantly dirty. I always look like I'm healing from a fight that I got in like 3 days ago. Like I got a yellowing black eye like all the time. My nose is crooked. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the picture he selected for his character, like the nose is like permanently like sideways. It's been
Exactly.
broken so many times.
yeah.
It's
So
gross.
it's gross. I'm gross. Did you just call me
Yep.
gross?
Yeah. Yeah. The
We might have a problem with that.
Salvatore
Don't-
Sincere is
don't
your
annoy- don't
future
annoy.
future relative.
Okay.
Little wrestling shout out there for my wrestling fans. Yes, please follow Caleb's channel.
Yes.
I don't know.
Sorry for
Pete,
the
Pete can
plug.
drop the link. I don't know if I have those powers here. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I can just click my name. I think. No.
Probably not on Garblag. That might be on Free League.
Yeah, I don't have the magic powers. One day. No.
It's fine.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. Very interesting character. Always dirty, kind of getting in trouble, rough and tumble.
A little bit.
Megan or Ben? Would either of you like to go next? Oh, Megan, you did yours. I'm sorry. Ben.
Okay, yes. Hello. Right Honourable Viscount Quentin Aloysius Goff, third Viscount. Well, it's such a nonsense thing, really. I don't like to make a fuss, but yes, I'm a student of modern ancient languages, not the ancient ones. Obviously, that would be impossible. So modern ancient languages, yes, and a bit of a historian. I study at Cambridge. I say study. They do ask me to lecture from time to time, what with the doctorate and all, but that's not important. Never mind.
And what was your first name? I'm sorry, Viscount.
Quentin Aloysius Goff.
I got the Aloysius and the Goff. Quentin. All right. I'm gonna call you Viscount. There was a restaurant in the city I grew up in. It's called the Viscount Court. Yeah. But as a kid, I was like, why is it Viscount? What is that? Why is this restaurant named Viscount? When you're a kid and you think like chaos is chows. Before
the reason I'm going along on this this little jaunt is, well, us asked, and I don't like to disappoint.
You were asked, and you don't. And you're an archaeologist, right?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
That's a bit mucky. Historian, linguist, scholar.
All right, a gentleman and a scholar. That's right. How can
I've read lots of books about doing archaeology and such like, but no, I've never actually sort of seen the dirt, if you like.
The chat's already saying you're a vampire.
I blame Sofino, to be fair.
Yep, about right.
Yeah, they found you out. All right, so character creation's done. We can start. We have some time here before the end of our session, so let's get started with Prue. Let me turn on some sound here for those who can hear it. We have a little bit of technical difficulties on for the first
Yes.
episode. So the folks here at home won't be able to hear the sound effects that the players are hearing, but we're going to remedy that for next week, and you're going to hear the beautiful Sirenscape sounds.
Sorry, that's
along
my
with the
fault.
So good. Those sounds. People cannot hear them, but they're beautiful. Make me want to cry.
players. Build it up.
Rubbing it in.
All right, so we have another handout. We're gonna kick this off. So you have answered this ad, and you all receive a telegraph, Trans-Pacific Telegraphy, and it reads: "Thank you for joining the expedition. Stop. Please join me in Lima. Stop. Have booked you room at Hotel Mori. Stop. Meet 18th of March at 7 p.m. at Bar Cordona. Giron Ancash 202, Distrito de Lima. Stop. Augustus Larkin." So you have a time and a place where you are to meet your benefactor, Augustus Larkin, the one who is gathering this little group to go find this pyramid out in the highlands of Peru. So you don't all necessarily know each other. If you want to know one another, or so there are some connections here, you're free to explore that. Otherwise, you all have your room and board booked for you, and you know you need to meet at the the Bar Cardano, March 18th, 7 p.m. You each find your own way there. The most common is to take a ship, but you could fly. You could take trains. What? Stop. That's right. What? Sorry, the chat. What? How are you each finding your way down to Lima?
Cheapest possible way. Whatever's cheap.
All right.
So if it's a boat, then it's a boat. It's fine. Doesn't even have to be a very big one. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Boat would be the most cost-effective way.
I'm going to fly.
Yeah, that's it. That's how Louis would go.
You're gonna fly. All right.
I'm a pilot myself, sort of, so I like flying.
Okay.
I'm going to read a history book and see how they got to where they were going to get there. And if they went by boat, then I'm going to go by boat, which they must have done because they wouldn't have been able to fly. So I'll have been taking a boat for a little while and probably getting quite sick and not enjoying myself.
Seasick. I like it.
Augustus Larkin will probably call me Tintin when he meets me, and I hate it.
Tintin?
Yes.
Okay. Chat, was Tintin written at that point, the first Tintin book? Or does that mean something else? Is that like a slang?
It's like a short version of Quentin, isn't it?
Ah, I did not know that.
Okay.
Horribly overfamiliar.
But watch out, I was born in Belgium, so Tintin, it's shaky ground there. I think I'm gonna hire Pete. I'm gonna hire Pete's character to fly me there. No.
Good luck. Yes, excellent. Of course.
So I show up the day we probably late when we're supposed to take off, with a beautiful man and a beautiful woman at my side, and we're very merry, and they help me carry my luggage and say, yeah, no, they're gonna come with us. It's gonna be all fine. I need company during that flight. You need to look after the flying thing, right? So you cannot entertain me, can you?
Plane. I will be piloting the plane. Yes. You've paid for a seat on board, so I suggest you find it and relax for the flight. LC is wearing a cricket jumper, but not cricket whites on his legs. He's wearing fairly comfortable slacks and nice sensible shoes. He's got a strange little cap on his head. Yes, and I'll gesture in the direction of the plane, looking disapprovingly as they turn away from me.
Very good. All right, so we have a connection between Jaden and LC. They're going to be arriving together. They might not know that they're both headed to take on the same job, but they will find out when they both arrive at Bar Cardano at the same time. Jeff's on a boat.
I'm also.
Sorry, Louis Salvatore is on a boat. I'm sorry. And where is your name, Megan? Gwendolyn is on a boat.
Yep. I'll. Why don't like Louis? You like to play little cards, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there's money involved, I want to play some cards. But if we're talking like go fish, no thanks. That's just
That's just disgusting. No, so I'll take the boat with you, and naturally I'm wearing pants, some nice like what are they called? Knickers?
Slacks.
Slacks? No, not full length, up to the knee, man.
Trousers.
Trousers. Fair enough. So yeah,
Palazzo.
Would you say you're a bit of a flapper?
no, I'm not.
Okay. No, I am not actually. Those are typically women that did not dress in traditional women's garb. That's why I asked. I
No.
went against the grain. I said, no, I don't have to dress like how you tell me to. All right.
Tie and a cigarette, and yeah, playing little cards in the hull of the ship. Not hull, the bottom base. Terrible. Not a nautical person.
Neither am I, so I didn't even notice. And perhaps the Viscount is on the same boat as you, but in much cushier.
Yeah, I suppose that you've got two sort of routes, really, haven't you? You've got the England to Africa, and then Africa across to South America, or England to New York, and then New York down to South America. So I'll take that one. By the second leg of the journey, he'll be a little bit more capable, but will swear off eggs on the voyage.
Okay, very good. That's hilarious.
Definitely the problem.
Okay, swear off eggs. All right, so you all arrive a couple days before your meeting in Peru, but you find your accommodations. They're waiting for you. You all gather your belongings, and one by one, you make your way to Bar Cardano. Some of you are pleasantly surprised when you see a familiar face when you arrive. You're standing at the door there for your meeting time.
I shall wander around the streets of Lima for a little while, saying, hello, does anybody speak English? Aramaic?
And that's the thing. So, being
Greek?
in Peru, almost everybody here speaks Spanish. It is not very common to find a lot of English speakers here. So you do have a hard time getting around the city itself and trying to communicate with the locals. I'm playing sounds on the back end for Bar Cardano. You guys, all of you, you mill around, you try to make your way around, you try to communicate with the locals. If you don't know Spanish, it's not too easy. But the time comes for you to meet at Bar Cardano. You enter the bar. It is quite full on this evening. You search and scan the room, and right away you see there's a table with 3 men sitting at it. One of the men is African American. He's wearing a nice tweed suit. He's got a fedora sitting on the table next to him, and he's smoking a pipe. And he's got a bit of a smirk on his face. It looks like he's just kind of like he's just heard a good joke. Another man sitting in the middle is wearing an all-white suit. He's very thin and pale, and he's got greasy blonde hair that's slicked back and blue eyes. And to the right of him is another man. And he's very gaunt, with pronounced cheekbones and deep-set, piercing blue eyes. He has medium-length brown hair, and it's unkept. It looks like there's been no attempt whatsoever to style it or just kind of comb it into place. The 3 that are sitting there, and as you know, you all start filtering in, or maybe you bump into one another as you enter the bar. The man in white raises his hand and goes, "Jaden, LC, Gwen, Louie, Quentin." Larkin, come join us. I'm glad you could all make it. And he waves you over to the table, and there are chairs waiting for all of you there. And he
Could I have
greets
a
you to sit
pint
down.
of bitter, please?
I'm afraid they don't serve that here. You can find hard alcohol typically.
I wouldn't normally, but perhaps a small sherry when in Rome, after all.
Yes, it's on me. It's on me. I'm buying dinner and drinks tonight. Please order what you like.
That's very
I
kind
could
of you.
think Louis was already there at the bar for a little while and was
Okay.
kind of half asleep at the bar. Then he looks up and then he wipes a little bit of the cocktail napkin out of his face, picks up whatever brown liquor they were serving me. I think it's mine. It might be whoever was sitting next to me, and I'll just wander over and sit,
Sure.
yawning the whole time. Oh God, best sleep I've gotten in weeks. Ugh.
This unkept, stinky man comes over to the table. And Augustus says, introductions are in order. And he holds out his hand to shake all of your hands. Augustus Larkin, thank you for agreeing to come on this journey with us. He holds his
Very
hand out
excited to
each
be here. That sounds thrilling. I can't wait.
Oh,
So
yes.
Augustus is the Afro-American, or is he the pale, slender individual?
He is the pale, slender man in the white suit.
Oh, that's the point. I should probably greet the African American chap in Dahomey because I'm utterly unfamiliar with the idea that there might be people in the world who aren't like me.
So you say something, and he says, "Come again?" in a perfect American accent.
Oh, so sorry. Hello. Yes.
Hello, nice to meet you. He holds out his hand to shake it.
Quentin.
Good to meet you. Name's Hughes, Jesse Hughes. And he's got a smirk. He's got a very like warm disposition about him. He doesn't seem threatening at all. Holds his hand, shakes your hand. Again, he's grinning. He lights his pipe, starts to smoke it. When you shake his hand, though, Jesse Hughes' hand, why don't you go ahead and make me a psychology roll? Actually, anybody at the table, go ahead and make me a psychology roll.
I don't have psychology, but I do have psychoanalysis. Will that do?
If you don't have it, go ahead and drag and drop it onto your character sheet.
Okay.
Because you will need it throughout the game.
I do have psychology if you want anyone.
Yeah, anybody who's there and kind of just like doing the greetings and going around the table and saying hello to everybody. Go ahead. All right. So Jaden, you do not pick up on anything. That was
Yeah, I'm
unsuccessful.
gonna sit next to Mr. Yu and say, would you have some fire? And I will present him with a cigarette I'm holding.
Oh, look at all those rerolls. That's what we like to see.
Oh, my
And I'm
goodness.
completely blanking on this rolling thing. It's not working for me.
I think is your character sheet still unlocked?
Oh, thank you. You got it.
So
You're
you're
so
offering
smart.
a light to Jesse Hughes?
No, I'm asking for a light.
Oh yeah, sure. He says no problem. He goes into his coat pocket. He pulls out a pack of matches, strikes it, and holds it out to light your cigarette for you.
Thank you. What are you drinking? What do you recommend in this?
Well, the rum here is
establishment.
quite good. I recommend
The what? Sorry.
the rum. I've never never tasted anything quite like it up in the States.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. I have some rum then, Mr. Larkin. Some rum for me, please.
He holds up a hand and kind of shouts at the next server walking by. One rum for my guests, please. And he looks at the rest of you. Anyone else? Rum?
Yes. I'll take one, and I'll reach over and shake his hand. Elsie Ashford, Marylebone Cricket Club.
Pleasure to meet you, Augustus Larkin.
Oh, I think I might have seen you play Cambridge a few years back. A jolly good show.
Well, yes, quite. Thank you. And I'll sit down, slightly embarrassed.
Gwen, as everybody's kind of doing introductions, you're watching the table, you're taking in the whole scene, and you sense that there is tension between Jesse Hughes and the other man at the other side of the table, the one who's got like the unkempt hair and he's very gaunt and pale looking. He seems to just be kind of staring at Jesse and almost piercing like right through him. And he rarely moves his gaze away from him. And the man says nothing, very little. But you pick up on this.
So I'll at least saunter on over and sit right down and say, Gwendolyn Murphy. Nice to meet you.
To who? The man who's kind of glaring across the table?
Absolutely.
Okay. You passed that check, sorry, before I forget. So make sure you put a little check next to psychology because you passed it. Because you're going to be able to roll to improve it. He slowly turns and looks at you, and he looks like he's annoyed. He wants nothing to do with you or this. He looks you up and down, and he says, "Louis de Mendoza," and he turns back and just kind of keeps scanning the table. But you pick up that he's looking at Jesse through the corner of his eye.
So I'm gonna just I'm so sorry, sir. What was your name again?
He doesn't look at you this time. He doesn't break his gaze over at Jesse, and he's got a Spanish accent, but it doesn't seem to be like the native accent that you've been hearing the last few days that you've been here. And he says, "Louis de Mendoza."
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Mendoza. Well, maybe you can answer this question that I've had been burning inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
I got here. The heat. Does it ever cool off? I can't remember the last time I was dry. I've been sweating from places I had no idea I could sweat.
He just kind of, again, he doesn't look at you, and he goes, "Excuse me," and he just turns and walks away, and he walks over to the bar.
That's rather rude, I'll say as he goes.
Augustus Larkin says, "Oh, don't mind him. He's my aide. I hired him. He's familiar with the region we're going to, so he is an asset, but he's a little rough around the edges." Everybody who hears Larkin talk, you asked about his accent earlier. Everybody can go ahead and make me a language roll. If you speak English as your native language, which you all do, go ahead and make me a language roll, please, to maybe kind of pick up. His accent sounds English, but something's a little off by it. Jaden, go ahead and mark that as a success on your character sheet. His accent, oh my goodness, a critical failure, LC. You are convinced that he's French, and you approach him and you talk to him about his French accent. But on the other hand, Jaden and Louis, you both pick up. It sounds English, but it's actually like Kenyan. It's like an Afrikanese accent that he has.
I'm sorry. I'd forgotten to put own language in.
That's okay.
Oh,
and
so did I.
and Tintin, you also passed.
And is that the little, what do we press for the check that
If you got rid of the little lock on your character sheet, so it's no longer edible, I believe there is a little box that you can.
Auto did it for me, actually.
Oh yeah. No, there's a little yellow
sheet.
Yeah.
Yellow dot. Yeah.
It's a smart sheet. So yeah, the three of you pick up that it's not quite English, but it is actually Kenyan accent that you're hearing. He's not British. But LC, you're like, these guys, it's a hell of a French accent. What region of France are you from?
You from the Dordogne?
Excuse me?
Never mind.
You need that rum, don't you?
I will slide over the bottle that I've been working on for like a while. I think this is rum. It's brown. You go. And it's kind of foggy looking.
Like you backwash the bottle.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like a table. Anyone takes.
I've been
takes
on
it,
a
it's
cricket
fine.
tour in Australia. Don't worry. And I knock it back.
Said a bunch of words there. I think I knew like 2 or 3 of them, but hey, you drank it, so that's good.
Australia.
Right. It's an island, right? I think it's an island.
The big
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So Larkin says, I introduced my aide. He's a bit rough around the edges. This is Jesse Hughes. For those of you who haven't made introductions, he's a folklorist from New York who is coming along this expedition. To chronicle and write everything that we experience and take place in this. But let's have some dinner. Please sit down. Let's order something. I recommend the seafood. It's quite good here. And then we can go over the details of our expedition.
I sit next to Augustus,
Okay.
and I seem quite interested in him actually.
When you sit next to him, please make me a spot hidden roll. Jaden. All right.
What are you gonna spot?
You smell you can spend, so if you click on it, it expands. You can spend 45 luck to pass this.
Is that a gun in your pants?
No, you smell like heavy cologne. It's almost like you're almost choking on it. It's very pungent, and it seems like he's just heaped it on, and it's very distracting. Like you can't taste your drink. When the food comes, you can't taste anything through this god awful cologne that he's just bathed himself in.
Oh no.
And it's quite off-putting. So at first you make your way over there, but now you're just kind of like this. This is gross. I don't like this.
That's so disappointing. I don't even want to talk with him anymore. So
Yeah.
who's sitting next to me on the other side?
I'm gonna say that Quentin is sitting next to you on the other side.
Crying at the minute because this food has not been boiled.
I'm not eating seafood.
You could ask for something else. I'll have rice, please.
Everything is made entirely of fire. The drinks are on fire. The food is on fire. I don't understand. Why would you do this to your food? Everything tastes like it's on fire.
Well, it's more exciting. You haven't tried much food from different nations?
I love to try food from other nations. It's a wonderful experience, and I'm experiencing it right now.
I turn to Larkin and I say, people from the old country, they're not so open-minded about culinary traditions as we are elsewhere in the Commonwealth, are we? What is food like in Nairobi? I'm myself from Gibraltar, but I never crossed to Africa yet.
It's been quite some time since I've been there. I've been traveling the world, seeking adventure and treasures like we're gonna uncover here. I can't quite tell you what it's like there these days. Just from when I was a young lad. And his story seems kind of like when he says that, you don't really forget things from when you were a child. And it seems a little off. You kind of pick up like, oh, this guy's a little weird, but okay, he stinks. Maybe it's the new people around here.
So is that Larkin who stinks?
Yes, it's
or-
Larkin who reeks of the cologne.
Ah, I thought it was you. Okay.
So I'm going to try and eat the food and drink the drink, and there will be coughing and spluttering and red face and probably weeping, but gentlemanly weeping, done subtly.
Quentin is making quite a scene while eating his dinner.
Do excuse me, I think I've got something in my eye.
We'll weep like a Briton.
So once dinner's finished, Larkin, they take away the plates and everything, and Larkin says, all right, it's time to get down to business. And the reason I was looking for people is I uncovered from a local that there is a pyramid south of here near Lake Titicaca where there are ancient shards. Nobody's found this thing before. An old farmer found a couple of objects, and his grandson is actually the one I came into contact with, and he let me know the location of this pyramid, and he gave me these artifacts. And he reaches down to the table, and he's got a bag or briefcase, and he pulls out two objects. They're both covered in handkerchiefs, and he rests them on the table, and he takes the handkerchief off, both of them. One of them is a pendant in the form of a man holding two rods or staves, embellished with rectangular shapes. The other is a golden cup, carved with geometrical patterns and circles, and inlaid with turquoise. Anybody who's looking at those objects, feel free, go ahead to make me an archaeology roll, please. Just looking at the two of them as they sit there on the table as he uncovers them.
Oh, here we go.
Since one of them is a pendant and I'm quite versed with jewels, could I have a look at it more from the jewels point of view?
Yes. Yeah.
Can I take a look from an anthropologist's perspective?
Yes, you can.
Matt, can I take a look from a firearms perspective?
No, you cannot.
Beat me to it, Jeff.
Right, now, how many of these luck points do I have to spend to pass that?
All right. So
One for
where are
one.
you on here? Viscount. You'd have to spend 11.
I will
And you
do
can
that.
so if you click your 71, it expands, and you can actually click the button to spend 11 luck points. It might subtract from your character sheet. I don't know.
It has.
Oh, look at that. 11 luck spent, 71.
Look at that. That's cool.
So you're looking at these objects, and you've read of different tribes and different cultures that have lived in Peru. This doesn't add up. He claims that this farmer found both of these in this old pyramid. These two artifacts are from very different time periods. One of them looks to be from the 5th century. The other, the cup, looks to be of Incan design and probably from the 15th century. And this strikes you as odd.
Yes. A minor point of order. I feel I should point this out, but there is approximately 1,000 years between these two artifacts.
What?
This is a 5th century artifact, and this is 15th century. You see the difference in the workmanship and the craftsmanship and the stylistic flair that's used between the two shows up that this first one here is definitely 5th century, which would place it more than 1,000 years before this second one, which of course has its own fascinating historical origin. I don't know a great deal about the people of the Incans, but certainly this is of Incan design, but this predates even their civilization.
Larkin looks at you and he almost looks annoyed. He says, no, that does not match with my research that I've done.
Well, I shall bow to your more local knowledge. Obviously, Incan history and mythology isn't my particular speciality, but I would stake at least a good dinner on this.
Yeah, you see, he starts to kind of like scratches at his arms, and he gets like visibly annoyed. He says, "No, perhaps maybe the old farmer found them elsewhere. Like I said, I got them from his grandson. Whatever it may be, whatever you think, they came from this pyramid, and that is our goal. We need to go to this pyramid and find more."
Yes, I mean, it's quite possible that the one pyramid is built on the site of an older one, and therefore they could both have come from the same location. Absolutely. I wouldn't dispute that at all.
Right. Yes. And he seems to kind of jump on the thing. That's it. Yes. Enough of this. Well, how about the journey itself? And he quickly tries to change the subject when you point this out.
I'm gonna bring it back to the subject. Mr. Hughes, this sounds awfully complicated. I cannot understand. Could you you're an expert yourself, right? Could you explain that in simple terms for me? And I put my hand on the end of Hughes.
Yeah, Mr. Jesse Hughes, he leans back in his chair and he lights his pipe, and a smirk comes across his face. He goes, "Well, I don't know too much about it, but I do know that there are pyramids down there. But I've also heard talk of vampires or something ridiculous like that."
Vampires.
What are they called? He asks Larkin.
Go ahead and
Larkin
just
goes,
Take the drink
Carisi.
from him.
Yeah.
What's
in that rum?
I said I'm just gonna reach over and just drag the bottle in
Yeah.
front of him over to my side. I think that's enough for you. I think that's enough.
He
Enough for
just
me.
kind of smiles at you, and he goes, "That's ridiculous, isn't it, Augustus?" And Augustus goes, local legend. They speak of these Carisi, these local vampires that suck you dry. It's folklore, nothing of the such.
Oh, come on, that sounds so exciting. Jesse, you don't mind me calling you Jesse, do you?
He goes, "No, that's fine."
Please tell us more. That sounds so exciting. And I blink my eyes at him while he's smoking my cigarette.
He says, "Well, I don't know too much about it. I'm here to chronicle this. I've read a little bit of folklore. I was going through some some newspaper articles before coming here, and I read about these people being found sucked dry of their blood and everything. And I did a little research, and they claim that there's these vampires related to the conquistadors that came here centuries ago.
Did you bring anything to?
People
protect
always
me?
make up stories about things they don't understand.
It is quite possible, as you would know, sir, as a folklorist, that historically speaking, a lot of the diseases that we are now familiar with in modern science were described as curses or strange maladies by the people of old. And it's that they may well have seen, I don't know, some kind of unusual sickness pass through the town and attributed it to this sort of vampiric spirit, when, as we now know, bad smells no longer cause disease. The work of modern scientists have shown us that. However, it is possible that this covers up some form of more ancestral blood-based excuse me, sorry, Mum. I don't mean to be rude.
Oh, carry on.
That they have a strong heritage of blood and ritual-based sacrificial killing in this part of the world. So God-fearing modern-day Christians may well take umbrage at their older, more traditional relatives, perhaps, and dress it up in this sort of folkloric pomp and circumstance type of deal.
Again, Augustus almost seems to jump on this. He's like, yes, that's right. Local folklore, hogwash. It's ridiculous.
So as I was talking, I've been slowly getting closer across the table with my cigarette, and like the ash is getting longer and longer and longer. And as like Augustus pipes up, like out of the trance, cigarette ash everywhere. And it's like, well, that was worth the journey across. I'm excited to head out. When do we leave?
Augustus, he kind of snaps out of it. He's like locked in a gaze with Jesse, and it's almost like there's like tension there. And all of you notice at this point, the other gentleman, Luis de Mendoza, is like glaring like daggers from his eyes at Jesse, who's kind of like reveling in this whole situation that you've instigated. Yeah, Augustus snaps. So he goes, 5 days time. You have 5 days. Gather belongings. Buy whatever you need, and I'll reimburse you. Just give me the receipts. We're gonna leave in 5 days time for Puno. I've hired 3 trucks to get us there. Once we get to Puno, we're gonna take some mules, some pack animals, and we will make our way to the highlands and go to the pyramid. And he seems very flustered at this point. He seems very kind of put off by everything that's just kind of taken place and played out.
What's the date then?
I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait 5 days.
Well, we could always have a game or two. I could teach you the finer rules, and we could have a few drinks as well, Louis.
Yeah. We could buy anything, right? You said.
Yeah, you buy it, and I'll reimburse you.
And I'm just gonna hold up the rum bottle, like, I wonder if they sell this by the case. I'll be right back. So I'm gonna start getting up. And I'm gonna walk towards the bar, but wasn't the guy who's staring at the other Louis, like
Mendoza?
The one who's staring daggers.
He's come back. Like when dinner happened, then he came back and he was sitting there across the table from Jesse. And again, just like I said, you've all seen it now. Like it is obvious there's something he does not like about Mr. Hughes.
Yeah, and I'll just lean down. He'll probably say no. Like, you wanna give me a hand with this? Like we got. See if we can get a case or two of this for the drive. This is to the guy. Yeah.
Mendoza.
See if I can pull him away from the table.
He like looks to you and he goes, I think it's time to call it an evening. And he stands up and Larkin says, yeah, it's I think it's getting late. We'll retire. We'll see you in 5 days time. And we'll set out for our journey.
End of the evening. The sun's still out. What are you talking about?
He laughs because it's after 9. It's getting late. And you notice he's really kind of agitated. Larkin, go ahead and make me a spot hidden or medicine roll. Either of the two, whatever you're better at. Go ahead and select and make a roll.
Is that everyone?
Oh, Louis.
Hey, I'm gonna
Everyone?
investigate it.
Everybody they both stood up to leave.
Sorry, what are we
Louis,
rolling?
You
Spot
can either
hidden.
do spot hidden or medicine, whatever you're better at. Gwen, you notice that he is agitated. Larkin, not Mendoza. Larkin is, and he's scratching at his arms. And when he scratches his arm one time, you see his sleeve slide up, and you see there's track marks. Louis, you've been around the block. You know some rough characters. You know things are going on. It looks like this man is Larkin is suffering the symptoms that resemble opiate withdrawal, and he's sweating profusely. And he's like, "Time to call it an evening. It's time to go. We must be on. We must be going on."
Okay.
Surely,
I'm staying
Jesse, you will stay with us a bit. I'm sure Mr. Larkin can find this room on his own.
It just says I can stay for a drink or two. It's the evening's still young.
It is.
And as they're leaving, Larkin says, "Myself and Mr. Mendoza, we're both staying at the Hotel España. If you need anything in the next few days, you can find us there." And he's just getting his coat on. He's just sweating like crazy, kind of scratching his arms. And
I'll help him put his coat on. I'll stand up.
Sure.
To help.
Yeah,
him.
you stand up. You help him with his coat. Thank you. You don't have to trouble yourself. And he tries to stay away from you. I'm going to get you to also to make me a spot hidden roll when you're helping put his coat on.
Just manners, old chap.
As you're putting the coat on, through this cologne, this cheap cologne that he's bathed himself in, you get like the hint or smell of like rotting meat coming off of him. Like he's put the cologne to
Glad I didn't have the
mask
fish. That's inner monologue. Okay.
So yeah, you pick these. You smell through the cologne as he's sweating and starting to perspire. It's kind of coming off, and you smell this sickly, gross, rotting meat smell coming off of Larkin.
I'm looking for a
It's the
hotel
same one, but
myself. Does that España have baths? Do they have a bath?
Are you asking him that?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
So
good.
does the hotel I put you up at.
So I'll say good. Looking at him.
But you guys are put up at a different hotel. You are not staying at the same hotel as the two of them.
Sure.
That was in the telegram that was sent to you.
Mhm.
The telegraph. I'm sorry. You're at the Hotel Murray, and they're at the Hotel España. So they leave for the night. They excuse themselves, and you're sitting there. And Jesse kind of leans in. And he lights his pipe and he smiles and goes, "How much of that malarkey are you buying?"
I don't know. He's kind of a. I mean, he kind of spoiled the mood tonight. It's a pity. I'm not quite happy he left, to be honest, and that you stayed with us.
Well,
I must say there was a hint of historical inaccuracy, which certainly wouldn't wash in academic circles. I can tell you that.
you're telling me.
He needs to take a bath. That's all I know.
So
He
Jesse, how
looks
did you ended up meeting Mr. Larkin?
Well, he looks around the room, kind of looks to see if anybody's looking around. He goes, "Okay, I'm gonna come clean with you guys. The name's not Jesse Hughes. My name's Jackson Elias, and I'm actually here investigating and researching my next book." With the name Jackson Elias, he is actually a quite famous author. He's been on the New York Times bestsellers list quite a few times, and you recognize his name. He's actually known for going around the globe and kind of researching these folklore or superstitions and bringing them to light, like what's really going on there. He's most known for his novel, which was Sons of Death, which he wrote in 1918. And what it did was he uncovered the modern day Thuggees in India and their cult and wrote a whole book on them. And that's what made him famous. And he's actually written a number of books around these subjects. And so he says, "I'm here to research my next book." Part of what I said was true. I was digging through some libraries and found some articles in New York, researching my next book, and it spoke of these vampire things down here in Peru, which is ridiculous. It's preposterous. But then I came down here to do some research. I figured there's more going on. I see these reports, these people being sucked dry, and I went down to that region. I went down south, around where Larkin spoke of, and the locals claim that the conquistadors that came here so long ago, they stayed behind, and they became these Carisi, these vampires. But I think there's more to it. Do my research and talk to these people. They all claim that these vampires, these Carisi, they're white. That's why they say they're the Europeans that came over here. But I think this is tied maybe to the U.S. or America or something else. And I think there's a pagan death cult operating here. It's taking advantage and preying on these people's fears. So I'm here to research this book. When I was down there, I was told that our friend there, Mr. De Mendoza, is tied to this cult, this that I believe exists. And I think
Do you think that maybe it could be a legacy cult, possible ancestry ties to the conquistadors, and possibly fueled by fear that these Europeans are still, I mean, we know they came here searching for gold. Do you think this is just the legacy of their descendants, if you like, still trying to carry on the old conquest?
This is so exciting.
I do.
Not sure that's the right word.
I think these are folks playing off the fears and the superstitions of the people who live in that region. I don't exactly know what or why they're doing it, but come on, vampires, that's ridiculous. There's no vampires.
Of course.
I'm smitten with Mr. Elias, so I'm gonna go full charm on him.
Sure. He goes, listen, I've been doing some research the last little while, and I think all of us may benefit from, helping one another. In particular, there is a professor here at the National University of San Marcos who wanted to go on the expedition with Larkin. He is an expert on this region and what's going on there, and Larkin will not let him go along. I have an appointment on Saturday to go see him. You're more than welcome to come with me to the university and meet him. His name is Professor Namicio Sanchez, and maybe we can get some more truths or uncover something else in the meantime before we leave to go to Puno and go down there.
I might. That would be wonderful. The chance to study under a local expert would be a huge boon to research. Plus, the university is likely to have more sort of tomes and appropriate knowledge that could be plumbed to see if there's any further insights that can be gained.
I would love to come along as well, although I'm sure I could learn as much studying under you as I would anyone else.
Excellent, excellent. He lights a match and he offers to light your cigarette for you.
Can
Again?
I roll charm?
Yes, please do.
So I got a bonus dice.
Woo, nailed it. All right. So yeah, he lights a match and he holds it out to offer to light your cigarette. And yeah, he seems intrigued.
Sensible footwear. I think we need to make sure we've all got the right footwear for this journey as well. If you'll note down your sizes, I'll make sure I arrange some, the right. The gaffer always said you've got to have the right footwear.
So is that
That's
Oxford's
not
or
a word I
Brogues?
expected you to say at some point.
All right. We're coming up on our time here. I have to do a hard stop this week. So we're going to leave it at that. So we've met some of the characters. We met Mr. Mendoza. We've met Augustus Larkin. We've met Jesse Hughes, a.k.a. Jackson Elias, who's not who he seems. And we've also found out about vampires and death cults. And our next leg of the journey is to go to the university, the local university, in a couple days' time to try and learn some more before you head on out with Larkin and Mendoza and as the plot thickens. So what we'll do is we'll do the rolling for the stats and all that afterwards. Normally we do that on stream, but because we are hard on time, what I want to do is we'll do a roundtable here if everybody can plug what they've got going on and where to find you this week, and we'll wrap it up. So, Pete.
Hello, yes. Well, this week on Garblag Games, tomorrow we have, let me get this right, Ranger Squadron, Star Wars West End Games D6 actual play starting tomorrow. Then on Thursday we have Enemy and Shadows Episode 4, our Cubicle 7 sponsored Woofrup 4E show, which is going really well. And then on Friday, Ben is starting something, and I'll let Ben talk about that in a minute, because I will just ask everyone to go and check out my Kickstarter on Thursday, February 4th, Dodeca Adventuring Through Grimdark Worlds, D12 style role-playing game with narrative, character, and world-building. Yay! Ooh.
Yay! Sounded so beautiful. Check it out. Check it out on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Support Pete. Make it a happy birthday. Caleb, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitch at RollistPod, so that's ROLISTESPOD. With that, you can find me on Twitter as well, rollistpod.com, that's my website. This Sunday, usually I stream interviews live on Mondays, but I'm going to have one this Sunday with a French designer. It's going to be at 9 a.m. EST, 2 p.m. GMT, so that's this Sunday. And on Monday, I'm releasing a new episode of the RPG Academy Film Studies. It's going to be an episode about the Hong Kong movie called The Chinese Feast. And among my excellent guests, I will have Banana Shan from a Korean game, who's the co-author of Jiangxi, Blood in the Banquet. And yeah, it was sorry, no, that's not the episode. That's the episode I'm editing. The episode I'm releasing is with B. Zelda from The Broadswords and Scott Brown from Lawful and Orderly. And it's going to be about Emir Costa Rica's movie Black Cat, White Cat. So if you want to find out what Roma punk might look like, you probably want to listen to that episode.
Very good. And Jeff, what do you got going on?
Yeah, twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. We play tabletop games on the internet. This Friday at what time is it? 7 Central. We're going to be playing Best Left Buried. We've been playing a small little kind of mini adventure. So I think we should be wrapping that up. And then this coming Monday, we're continuing our Alien campaign where Matt's trying to kill everybody in the party.
I did, but the chat bailed us out.
Yes, many times.
They bought rerolls. I blew up our ship with 2 other
Yes.
crew members on it.
Yes.
Nice.
Ben.
I'm here on Garblag. I'm here all week, trying the veal. I'm not in tomorrow's game because I have to have at least one night off a week. But Thursday, I am playing the Blessed Annika, Priestess of Myrmidia in The Enemy Within. And then on Friday, I am taking over as Mother to run Alien, What Lies Beneath, which is going to be a new Alien game that's running for this month on Garblag Games. We've got some new cast members. We've got some old cast members. We've got some cast members from elsewhere. It's going to be quite exciting. I hope I don't get anything wrong because Pete's built up quite a following for Alien, and he's made me a beautiful little trailer which he's just put in the Twitch chat, so you should watch that.
Very good. Megan, did you have anything you want to plug on the way out?
I know, just stay awesome to one another, and see you again next week.
Thank you. Thank you to our sponsor, Sirenscape, for providing the sounds. You will hear them next week. The players got to hear, they were sitting in a bar. They were in Bar Cardona, and they got to actually hear music playing and drinks clanging and all kinds of things. You will hear that next time. It's beautiful. It enhances the experience. So thank you, Sirenscape, for sponsoring the show. I was going to say producing, sponsoring the show. Thank you to Millie, the GM, for our
Yes,
awesome
thank you,
trailer.
Millie.
And thank you to my players for taking part in this. This is the first steps on a greater journey. I had a lot of fun with the first session. And thank you to the viewers for joining us live, and to the folks who are going to watch us later on Garblag on YouTube. Thank you. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much, and have a good evening, afternoon, day, wherever you are.
Bye-bye.